G'day, folks. Now, this week, I might sound like I'm auditioning for LBC, and, well, maybe I am, but this tale of lost opportunity that cost a town dearly does make my blood boil just a little bit, and frankly, should do yours. But when most people just leave it all to happen, it's no wonder silly mistakes are made. Just maybe we're all to blame? Here's a simple question. If you've got a few £100,000 of other people's money sitting in a bank, wouldn't you at least ask whether it's earning the best return it safely could? Because council reserves aren't monopoly money, they're your money. And before anyone reaches for the smelling salts, I'm not suggesting sticking the town reserves into Bitcoin or putting it all on the 330 at Exeter. I'm talking about something truly radical, a savings account that actually pays decent interest. Back in 2023, the idea of reviewing how the council managed its reserves and seeking a better return was raised. The response? It was voted down. Apparently, it wasn't considered a priority. Now, that's an interesting word. Priority? Because while interest rates were climbing, the council was often holding well over £100,000 and frequently more than £200,000 in cash. So I grabbed my calculator and asked myself, what difference might an approved investment strategy have made? Now, here's the kicker. Every year, according to the council's own financial regulations, councillors are expected to consider whether an investment strategy is required, and if one exists, review it annually. So, naturally, we've submitted an FOI to find out. Stay tuned. Going back to my calculator, using the council's published cash balances and the published daily yields of the CCLA Public Sector Deposit Fund, I ran some illustrative calculations. Illustrative, not actual investment returns, not evidence of financial loss, and certainly not suggesting every pound should have been invested. Every council quite rightly needs working cash to pay its bills. But here's what the illustration showed. Even if the council had permanently kept £100,000 immediately available, the additional interest over that period could have been in the region of £16,700. Invest every available pound and the illustration exceeds £31,000. Think about that. Not from increasing council tax, not from cutting services, not from winning the lottery, just making the public's money work a little harder. Now, here's the encouraging part. The issue didn't disappear. It continued to be raised, yes, by you-know-who, and eventually the council did move significant reserves into higher interest accounts. So this isn't a story about failure. It's a story about scrutiny, because sometimes scrutiny works. Sometimes asking awkward questions produces better decisions. Perhaps that's why scrutiny isn't always welcomed. After asking questions about governance, finances, and transparency, the council response wasn't always to answer them. More recently, there was even an attempt to stop this podcast, publishing edited council meeting recordings, a demand we've already explained went beyond what the law provides. Imagine if the same time, energy, and public money had instead been spent strengthening governance. That's an investment every resident would have seen a return on. And surely, that's exactly what accountability is supposed to do. Now, every so often somebody says to us, you're a bit hard on the council. These people are volunteers. They're giving up their own time. And they're absolutely right. Most parish and town councillors do volunteer. Most genuinely want to do a good job for their community. We don't question that. In fact, people willing to give up evenings for local democracy deserve thanks. But good intentions aren't a substitute for good governance. Good intentions don't review investment strategies. Good intentions don't maximise returns on public money. Good intentions don't ask awkward questions. Actions do. And when those entrusted with public money have the opportunity to improve something and choose not to. How exactly should residents hold them to account? We could make 4-hour documentaries on local government finance somehow. I don't think Netflix would be fighting over the rights. So instead, we use humour, not because we enjoy laughing at volunteers, but because humour allows ordinary people to engage with decisions that might otherwise go unnoticed. We don't satirise people for giving up their time. We satirise decisions, or sometimes the absence of them, because if a decision can't survive a gentle joke, perhaps it deserved a more serious question in the first place. It's almost biblical. The parable says, don't hide your light under a bushel. Financial governance has its own version. Don't hide your reserves under an interest rate so low that only the bank gets to enjoy the miracle. Because miracles are all very well, but I'd much rather see them performed on the town's budget than the bank's bottom line. Amen to that. They say a picture paints 1,000 words. This one of a bench in North Taunton's Park says, that'll do. Now maybe it's the camera angle. Maybe the ground isn't perfectly level. Or maybe it's simply the perfect visual metaphor. Because whether it's a park bench or the public purse, that'll do should never be the standard residents have to settle for. Good governance isn't about grand speeches. It isn't about petty politics or personal politics or the politics of personality. It isn't about winning arguments. It's about asking sensible questions, expecting sensible answers, and making sure every pound of public money works just as hard as the people who earned it. Right, I'm sending this into James O'Brien because it's not funny what's happening to me. Oh yeah, Andy's on holiday. His research into the town's homophobia shook him up too much. See you next time.